So you mean to tell me that not only is this show overall fantastic and only has the two duds, but it also managed to stick the landing on its finale? Is this like an alternate universe or something? Because usually with shows like this, they'll have like a mostly great full regular season, and then in the finale it gets very sketchy. But no, this one was amazing, dude. Like, what a way to end your season, and what a way to build up hype for the second season that we already know is coming. I mean, yes, I've had my issues through most of these reviews, especially 4 and 6 still being terrible episodes. But, wow, dude, this episode is amazing. This entire finale is amazing. And honestly, this whole season's amazing. So, I'm just going to talk about this episode in particular, and then at a later point down the road, I will do a full, overall, spoiler-free series review. So, if you want my full spoiler thoughts and everything, you just come back to these individual episode reviews. So what's up? What's happening? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Animation Station. This is for anything information, including TVs and movies as well. I'm your host, Jackson Small. Welcome to the absolute masterpiece that is X-Men 97's Season 1 finale, Tolerance is Extinction. Now we are on Part 3. And what if I told you it's even better than Part 2? Like, wow. This is high contention for the best episode of the entire season. So, let's just dive in. Shortly after Magneto critically injures Wolverine, Xavier uses his telepathic powers to override Magneto's mind and shut down the EMP. The Prime Sentinels are reactivated and continue wreaking havoc around the world. Just as Bastion prepares to execute Cable, Jean reemerges as the Phoenix and places the collar on Bastion, immediately deactivating the Sentinels. She then takes away Sinister's powers and control over Cable before the Phoenix Force disappears. Bastion rips Cable's cybernetic arm off and merges with it to upgrade himself and fly towards Asteroid M. And now he's becoming more machine than man, and it's some pretty freaky imagery. And he also has these giant metal wings. It looks so damn cool. Like, Bastion's already quickly becoming one of my favorite Marvel villains. Like, wow. They did way better with him than I expected. Upon his arrival, he is confronted by Blue Team. Meanwhile, Xavier struggles to save Magneto's mind. Gold Team arrive on Asteroid M, and a commandeered Sentinel to join Blue Team in the fight. Cyclops tells the X-Men to stand down before he attempts to reason with Bastion. But missiles launched by the US military bombard Asteroid M. Bastion is killed by their core reactor's explosion as the asteroid descends back to Earth. Yeah, and I do want to say this, the final battle with Bastion, pardon my language, but it's fucking awesome. Like, what an awesome final battle. Everyone gets involved. Rogue especially gets to whack the absolute crap out of him. It is so cool. And then we also see Roberto finally become an official X-Men, and apparently his name now is Sunspot? Yeah, the name's kind of lame, but I'm willing to put up with it. The X-Men use their combined effort to stop the asteroid from crashing on the East Coast. Magneto then regains consciousness and sends the asteroid back into space before it explodes, presumably taking him and the X-Men with it in the process. 6 months later, Bishop pays Forge a visit and tells them the X-Men are trapped in time. Cyclops and Jean end up in the future where they encounter Mother Ascani and a child Nathan. Meanwhile, Rogue, Nightcrawler, Beast, Xavier, and Magneto find themselves in ancient Egypt, where they meet En Sabanur. Hope I'm saying that right. And that's pretty much the finale. And then we have to talk about the cameos. We gotta talk about the cameos. There were cameos galore in this episode. Just absolute cameos galore. There were so many cameos. We have so much of them to talk about. Let me see if I can find them. I gotta find them. Here we go. Other characters who have appeared throughout the Marvel animated universe appear in this episode. Spider-Man, Doctor Doom, Baron Zemo, Silver Samurai, Omega Red, Captain America, Iron Man, like OG 90s Iron Man, Daredevil, Mary Jane Watson, Flash Thompson, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, Polaris, Black Panther, and T'Chaka. That's a lot of cameos. Not to mention, we gotta talk about this moment because the entire Marvel fan base is going nuts over it right now. Peter Parker found MJ again. And it's presumably at the end of the world, instead of being out there fighting, he decides to be uncostumed and spend his final moments with her. As a Spider-Man fan, that got me right in the heart. Like, it sucks that Spider-Man isn't actually in the battle, but what they did with him in the short little brief time that we get to see him, he does a great job. Like, he's really well done, and we get a little bit of closure to that cliffhanger from the original Spider-Man animated series. So, really nice there, and it's so sweet to see Peter and MJ together. Peter out of costume, spending his last, what he presumes is his last moments on Earth, with her by his side. Just what a beautiful moment. Like, it's very underplayed, but it is a beautiful, beautiful moment. And let's talk about Iron Man for a bit. I do want to talk about this, because this is the one Marvel show that a lot of people don't like. We get to see classic Iron Man, like the classic red and gold suit. Not the movie variant, not that kind of version. I mean, like, the classic Avenger suit. And it looks so cool in this animation. And not to mention, he gets to stand right next to Captain America. Like, so cool. And then we have Daredevil. Like, thank you. Freaking Daredevil. Doctor Doom. Friggin' Doctor Strange is in there. Like, they're just itty-bitty little cameos, sure. And they don't actually have anything to do with the plot. But it's so cool to see all these characters, and specifically these original 80s and 90s designs of these characters, in these brief moments in this show that's trying to replicate that same style. Like, seriously, that is awesome. Huge props to everyone involved in getting all those cameos in there. Like, seriously, awesome freaking job. I love the cameos in this episode. And then the battles are really cool. I already talked about the costumes in part 2. This is just a phenomenal episode, man. And a phenomenal show at that. Like, I had my issues with it. Episodes 4 and 6 are still not good. I stand by it. But the rest is just, it's so good. Like, it's so good. Okay, now I gotta talk about the voice cast now, because my goodness, this voice cast is so good. Ross Marquand as Professor X, Matthew Watterson as Magneto, Theo James, yes, Theo James from Divergent, as Bastion, Ray Chase as Scott Summers, Jennifer Hale as Jean Grey, Lenore Zan as Rogue, George Buza, hope I'm saying that right, as Beast, Gil Birmingham as Forge, Allison Seeley Smith as Aurora, otherwise known as Storm, Isaac Robin Smith as Bishop, Chris Potter as Cable, Adrian Ho as Nightcrawler, Holly Cho, hope I'm saying that right, as Jubilee, Gui Agostini as Sunspot, Roberto, Chris Burton as Mr. Sinister, Gates McFadden as Rachel Summers and Mother Ascani. Like, it goes on and on. Oh, and of course, Josh Keaton as Captain America. I praised all of that in that episode, but he gets a few more lines here, and we also get to see him unmasked. Awesome. Any other notable names in here? I already talked about Eric Bauza as the Sentinels in the very first episode. I guess we'll just finish off with a little bit of trivia. Part 1 was adapted from the Operation Zero Tolerance storyline from the comics. Premise Part 2 is heavily inspired by Fatal Attractions. Rogue is a stand-in for Colossus, Nightcrawler for Shadowcat, and Gambit for Magic. The shot of Magneto ripping the adamantium out of Wolverine's body is directly lifted from X-Men Volume 2, Issue 25. Okay, and I forgot to talk about this in part 2 when he made this joke. Cyclops' line to Cable, "What would you expect, black leather?" is a reference to the first X-Men movie where Cyclops said a similar line. I noticed that right away, and it probably got the biggest laugh out of me of this entire show. That is a great callback and a really funny line. The episode confirms that Spider-Man from Spider-Man the Animated Series returned to his original Earth with Mary Jane. For 26 years, the fate of Spider-Man and MJ remained unknown after the show was canceled on a cliffhanger. So, it's great that Spider-Man got his happy ending. That's so good to see. And honestly, it makes me want a Spider-Man show now. Like, if they can do X-Men this well, imagine what they can do with Spider-Man if they bring back that original series for one of these high-quality revivals. That would be so freaking cool. But as it is right now, just amazing finale, bro. Like, I'm struggling to even find words. They did such an amazing job. They did better than I thought they would do, and this is easily going to be among the best shows of 2024. I don't think it's better than Has-Been Hotel. I still think Has-Been is still number 1 in that list, but it is definitely at least top 3. Amazing show, amazing, outstanding job to everyone involved in it. And this finale is another 11 out of 10. Phenomenal episode. And you need to be watching this show right now. Even if you're not the biggest Marvel fan, I think that this show can do really good job swaying you in that direction. Not to mention, it isn't connected to the MCU, so it's not bogged down by that baggage. It is only trying to continue what it was left off on from the original 90s show. It did that well. It also made its own storyline well. It went full adult show. Like, I'm sorry, I gotta stop here or I'm gonna end up spoiling my entire thoughts and everything I have to say about the overall series. But my freaking goodness, what an awesome show. What an awesome finale. You need to be watching this now. That's literally all I got, so until we get that big Season 1 review, I'm Jack Small of Anime Cessation. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this almost every single day. And I'll see you next time.
We cannot take it anymore. The time has come. Prepare, finally ready for